Hello everyone, I am Vineet from Heating, Ventilation and Air Conditioning HVAC Learning Team. So in this video, we are going to touch upon heat load calculations. This is a part of series where we are going to enhance our learnings on heating, ventilation and air conditioning. So the key topics that will be covered in this video are associated with basic understanding on heat load calculations. Most of us might have seen the calculation sheet which something look like this. So if you are not aware on this page, we are going to touch upon to give you a brief idea how this sheet will work on your calculation on tonnage calculation for the HU selection. So when we say the heat load calculation, it is a 7-step approach starting from project and the room details. So as a first step, we need to conclude what is the project and we need to collect all the room details, and if there is a one room, we need to collect the room details. In the second step, we need to calculate what is the infiltration and what is the exfiltration from that area, so that we can conclude on what is the fresh air we need inside the area. That has to be added with the help of air handling units. So let's say we have one room from where, due to some low air pressure inside the room, the external room air or the external environment air comes inside that particular room which we are considering for the design. So that process is called infiltration. And if our room is on a higher pressure with respect to the adjacent rooms or external environment, the air will move out from the area which we are considering for the project. So that process is called exfiltration. So we need to understand what is the total quantum of infiltration and exfiltration, and basis that we can calculate the fresh air for the area. In the third step, we have to touch upon the outside and the inside condition, which means what are the temperature or the relative humidity we want inside the room, and what is the ambient air condition of that particular area. In the next step, we have to calculate what is the heat gain or the loss in terms of sensible heat. Sensible heat stands for when the room air temperature goes from a particular degree to either increase or decrease to the another degree. Sensible heat means what we can sense. After that, we have to calculate the heat gain or loss for the latent heat. Latent is due to the phase transformation. For an example, water is converted into ice or ice is melted into water. So whenever the phase changes, there is no change in the phase of that particular object. However, the heat might be gained or lose inside the area. So we need to calculate that calculation also as a part of heat load calculation. So that was the fifth step. Next step, we have to calculate the return air and the HU room heat. Whatever the heat the air will gain from passing through the duct or going inside the duct from the HU centralized blower post or before the chill water coil or the heating coil. So all that heat gain or loss which is considered during that transit until it reaches the room, that has to be considered. And once we are done with the all 6 steps, the final step will be the final system selection. After that, we will come to know what is the tonnage needed, what is the dehumidified CFM, what is the total CFM needed for the particular project. Now let's move ahead. So this is the first step where we need to collect the project and the room details. So let's say we are working on a particular project or the company. Then we have a particular department or the facility on a particular date when we are working on the heat load calculation sheet, which floor the area is located, the room name or room ID maybe, or the function, what kind of activity that is being carried out inside that area. We have mentioned compression and the capsule cooling room. After that, we need to collate the latitude and altitude of that particular location, basis which we need to compile the data from the ISHRAE guideline or from the ASHRAE guideline in terms of various ambient conditions during the different seasons, maybe summer, winter or monsoon. Once we are done with this, we have to pull in the specified inside room data. That means the floor area, the fresh air if there is any mandate like 100 CFM that has to be given in due to some dust extractor unit is there or some exhaust is there, so we have to directly put in that area or the fresh air quantity. Then we need dry bulb temperature or the relative humidity which is to be maintained inside the room. Then this is that we need to calculate the fresh air consideration, what kind of pressure level we have to maintain. So this is that we have considered 15 Pascal, or that means the room will be at the 15 Pascal pressure. Next, we have to touch upon what is the minimum air changes needed. So for the most of the clean room application, 20 AC is minimum needed. So this is that we will come to know about the volume and the pressure calculation, and in addition we need to check what kind of class cleanliness level is needed in that room. Now let's move ahead. So once that is done, we will move to the second step, which is infiltration and exfiltration. So infiltration means whatever the air come inside the room, that is called infiltration. What is the exfiltration? Air going outside the room. So then we need to calculate the infiltration and exfiltration. Basis that we are going to calculate the fresh air quantity. So in our case, we are coming around 33 CFM. So in this particular facility, there is one door, and in a particular door, there is the leakages or the cracks around the door, around the four side of the door or the door leaf. We are considering 0.015 square meter and considering then 30 Pascal of the pressure inside. So there will be the infiltration. And how much is the infiltration? It's 157 CFM. Likewise, we can do the same exercise for the exfiltration also. So once we will come to know the infiltration, exfiltration, pressure and the first step, so we can come to know what kind of fresh quantity or what is the quantum of fresh quantity needed for the air handling unit. So this is this CFM we can design the fresh air size, cutout size on the air handling unit. So once we are done with the second step, we can move ahead for the third step. Now let's move ahead. So let's move to the outside and the inside conditions. That is the third step for us. And in this stage, we just note down what is the ambient air conditioning. So let's say for this area, the summer season is considered as May, monsoon is August, and winter is considered as January. And these are the conditions or the dry bulb, wet bulb or the RH percentage on this area which we are considering in this sheet. So once we are done with this, we should be aware like what is the inside conditions which are to be maintained. So in this sheet we are considering that inside we have to maintain with 77 degree Fahrenheit, wet bulb is 59 and RH is 30%. So this is our ask, and this is to be mandated all around the season, around the 12 months. So once we are done with this, we come to know what is the difference. For an example, in the summer, 110 minus 77 is 33 degrees Celsius is the difference which has to be taken. This is the delta T on which the system is going to be designed. Likewise, in the monsoon we have 18 degrees, and in winters there will be the heat loss of in tune of sensible heat loss in tune of 32 degrees Celsius. So once we are done with the third section, we can proceed for the fourth section. Now let's move ahead. Now this is the fourth section where we have to capture the details on the heat gain or the loss calculation. This is basically the sensible heat, glass and the wall. So this is the 4.1 section. It has two sections I have bifurcated into, and once you come to know about the heat gain or loss due to the glass based upon the directions, and after that we have to consider the wall as well, and the roof, whether it's on the sunny side or it's on the shadow. So basis considering the factors from the ISHRAE or the ASHRAE guidelines, we can calculate the heat gain in terms of BTU per hour for all the three seasons. So once we are done with section 4.1, let's see in the next slide from where we are going to get the sensible heat then. So in the next portion or the next addition of the heat gain is from false ceiling or the adjacent areas, from the people, from the animal if it's a animal facility, from the equipment, from the lights, so or some of the air which will be passed through the cooling coil which is not dehumidified. Let's say cooling coil has the efficiency of 70%. So 70% will achieve approach towards the wet bulb temperature, but 30% will pass through the air. That will not come in contact with the air or the cold surface of the chill water and will not dissipate any moisture. So that is called bypass fresh air. So some percentage we used to consider over here. So once that is considered, we consider some safety factor and we come to know about the fan HP or the fan load is also considered. So basis that you will come to know about what is the effective room sensible heat. So once we calculate all this data, then we have to move into next. Now this is the fourth section where we have to capture the details on the heat gain or the loss calculation. This is basically the sensible heat, glass and the wall. So this is the 4.1 section. It has two sections I have bifurcated into, and once you come to know about the heat gain or loss due to the glass based upon the directions, and after that we have to consider the wall as well, and the roof, whether it's on the sunny side or it's on the shadow. So basis considering the factors from the ISHRAE or the ASHRAE guidelines, we can calculate the heat gain in terms of BTU per hour for all the three seasons. So once we are done with section 4.1, let's see in the next slide from where we are going to get the sensible heat then. Now let's move ahead, which is heat gain due to latent heat. So we are done with the sensible and now we are touching upon the latent heat. So difference we have already come to know earlier. Sensible heat means there is an increase in the temperature or the dry bulb temperature, maybe from 13 degree to 14 degree or 13 degree to 20 degree, and in our case it's 22 degree to maybe in peak summer it's around 42 or 43. So whenever the temperature increase from 22 to 25 degree, that is a sensible heat. But for the latent heat, there is only change in the moisture content. So let's see what are the different sources of latent heat. So whenever we are breathing, so while we exhaling, when we are moving air out from the nostrils, so moisture will come out. So that is also a part of latent heat. Maybe there is the steam appliances with the discharge of the steam, the latent heat will add on in the room. So that all those details are considered in this section. So once we are calculating all the details, so we will come to know about the effective room latent heat. Now below this there is another heat factor, which is effective room total heat. This is nothing but the total of effective room sensible heat which we have calculated on step 4 and the effective room latent heat which we are considering now. So total of this is coming into for the respective seasons into 36,000 to 31,000. Once we are done with the effective room total heat, we will move to the next. Now let's move ahead, which is return air and the HU room heat. So during the entire transit, what is the outside fresh air or the return air heat gain or the duct loss. So all those factors we put it into this sheet. So once we are done with this, we will come to know about subtotal of the all above heat gains, and after that we will come to know about grand total heat in terms of tonnage or in terms of BTU per hour. So this sheet will tell you how much tonnage will be total needed. So in this example, for the summer it's 3.26, or for the winter it's 2.63. Now let's move ahead. Now once we are done with this, basis all those details of all the calculation for the sensible and the latent heat, now we will move to the final system selection, and this is the major portion from where we come to know the more details. So these are the few topics, you can read it out, and these are the few calculations you can refer it to. Maybe in some subsequent videos we are going to touch upon all these things. Then we will come to know, after these calculations we will come to know what is the final tonnage needed for this. Let's take this example. In this sheet we are coming to know 5.5 TR is the tonnage needed for this particular AHU. Then we come to know around supply air quantity, which is in tune of 1645. We come to know about the dehumidified air quantity, which is to be get in touch with the cooling coil to achieve the tonnage of 5.53. So that is again the same 1645. In some of the units it might vary depending upon the load calculations. In the return air quantity, we come to know that there is some exfiltration or the infiltration. Also, if infiltration is there, this will be more. It's coming around 1802. Then we will have a look on the fresh air quantity, which we have considered it was in tune of 33 CFM. Then if some heating is needed, so we come to know about the heating load of 8.83 kilowatt. Then after that, once all these details are compiled, we come to know about the selected ACPH with ACPH and fresh air ACPH. So air changes per hour, so we have calculated that, and in the last we will come to know about what is the CFM per TR. So in this particular area, or is in this particular room, we are getting 297 is the total CFM per TR is needed for us. So this is how we are going to calculate heat load details for a particular AHU. Once we are ready with this, with the reading of dehumidified air CFM 1645, so once this is with us, then we have to shift to the psychrometric chart. We will touch upon in maybe in other video, and from the psychrometric chart we will evaluate or we will calculate what is the exact tonnage or what is the exact heating capacity is needed for a particular AHU. So thank you for watching this, and I think with this we can conclude this entire video. Thank you so much. We will come back and meet you again on some other interactive videos, or maybe sequel of this video. Thanks a lot.